What's going on, everyone? How we doing? Everyone good? He just shout out Starkai. Big up Serious Name playing the Plastic Man drop every time. Big up. If anyone subs during the stream, we get some sound effects going off for that as well now. Air horn, I think it is. How we doing? Let me get some music on for a minute. Welcome back. We'll let everyone get in. How's the sound levels for you guys? Let me know in the chat. 26 viewers already. Welcome if you're new to the stream. We'll turn the music down a touch. Making tunes on Windows 95. Yes, seriously. Big up El Blanco Nino 87. What's going on, Rockstar? You turn the music down a touch. Don't need to be up full on rave today. H Burner, what's going on? Welcome. Out to all the new followers. Big up Noah B, what's going on, sir? Good to see you. Bria Rose 73. Lukey Dan. Shout out Noah B, cheering. And Bria Rose, shout out you. Big up Noah. So today we are talking about hacking the industry, which is a crafty tagline. We're not actually hacking, but these are the next steps. Like the last 4 weeks, if you joined in watching the track getting actually made from scratch and done it all on Twitch. If you haven't checked them out, you can check them out in the video section. Hello Bria, welcome. And so we got our song finished, and the next step was to get it mastered. So the first thing I want to do today is play some masters for you. Now what I've done is, because this is all about the industry, I want to show you like all of the little other bits and bobs that you may not know. So first thing you got to do with your finished track before you get it out is get it mastered so that it sounds good, basically. Sorcery tune is good. Okay, let me turn the volume down a touch. Otherwise I will be shouting. I don't want to be shouting at everyone. Let's turn the songs down. Big up John, what's happening, mate? Welcome. So, to give you a little background, obviously we created the track. We're into the release phase now. So this is maybe a little bit more useful to people who weren't necessarily into the track I was making, which is cool. It's not always for everyone. But this should be a bit more like universal, something that whatever kind of music you make will hopefully be of use to you. My background, outside of making music and DJing, that a lot of people may know me for, I run a record label called Terrorism Recordings, which I've been running on my own for 18 years now. That signed some big releases down the years, early releases from people who went on to have big success. We had Joker, his first ever release was on Terrorism, on Unit as well. Shout out those guys. And also some of JD Reed's early stuff. JD Reed went on to become a platinum producer. He had a platinum selling record. And Louis Futon, who does massive things in the US and beyond, also put out some early stuff on the label and played his first gig at one of my events. So I'm involved in promoting parties as well. Since 2003 was the first one I ever did, which was Scream and Benger's first ever gig on a lineup that had the word dubstep on it. I believe it was Loafer's first gig as well, Loafer's first dubstep gig. So yeah, I've been involved in everything down the years. My first job in the industry was actually in distribution, and we're going to get into that today. It's changed a lot since I was in the game doing it. Obviously, I was selling records down the phone to actual physical stores all over the UK, and also to exporters beyond. I did that job full time for a year. and then came out of that, and that's when I set up my own label, and I've been running that ever since. So I want to pass some of my learnings on. Hopefully everyone got a little feel of like how I like to work in the studio making beats. If you've never made beats before, I hope that gave you a little bit of an idea what to do. So today, first thing I want to do is play some masters for you. So if you heard the track last week, I'll play it through. I've got 3 different masters because what I wanted to show you guys was what the difference is between maybe paying a professional to do it and some of the cheaper options that you can do online that kind of like automatically do it, like AI based. So I've got 2 cheap masters and 1 pro master, and we'll have a little listen through and figure out what the difference between those are. You know, to each person's taste, it could be a little bit different, but I'm going to get into one of those now. I'm going to play my least favorite one first. This is my least favorite of the 3. And I wanted to show the screen as well, because I think looking at the waveform can also tell you a lot about whether or not you've got the kind of master that you're after. If you look at that screen behind me now, that is Adobe Audition, where you can view the waveform in full. Shout out everyone who knows about Audition, classic bit of kit. Big up Wisdom. Big up Leanface. So this is my least favourite master. If you have a little look at it, around where my mouse is kind of floating now, you can see, right, the different sections of the track. So all this section here is like the intro, the drums. The peaks are normally like snares. That's normally the hardest part of a song, for my songs anyway. When you see this kind of green area get thicker, that's the bass all around here. And that tells me that there's a bit of space. Looking at it, there's actually a bit of space between the volume of the snares and the bass, which is what I like to look for when I'm looking at an actual master. Genes, yeah. So what we've got a Landr, we've got an Aria, and we've got one that I got done by my good friend Robin. And I won't tell you which one's which just yet. I'm not sure if you can see. I'm trying to shield it from the screen for now. But we'll have a little listen of this one. You know, the bass is there. There's a little bit of space there between the snares and the bass. Not a great deal, but that big kind of green block there, that tells me that it's going to be quite a harsh, heavy mix. Serious name, Leanface. Yeah, people were talking about like the look of it, the look of the master. And yeah, Landr, I guess, is that typical kind of EDM style, going for loudness, which is why people in the chat are now saying, you know, what they think it is. They can see the file name, yeah? Okay. Well, I've given it away already in that sense. It looks on my screen like the Spotify is covering it up a touch. There, for anyone who doesn't know. But anyway, we're going to play the masters. I'll play this one first. I won't play it all the way through, but we'll play it from sort of like just before the drop and into the drop. I'm not sure how good the quality of audio will be, but I'll try not to talk over it, give you guys a chance to just have a quick listen to this one. So that was the first master. And for me, when I listened to this master, there was stuff that I liked about it, but I could definitely hear like the compression. The thing you get with this is one of the cheaper masters. The thing you get with these kind of masters is it's a lot done with like guesswork, and a lot of the finer details can be missed a little bit in these. They can get your track nice and loud, as you can see, and I've personally used this mastering service in the past to just like bounce out something that I want to play in a club that night. It will just make sure that the levels are there. But from experience of playing those files in the club, you lose a little bit of that weight, that constant sub bass, which in bass music particularly is quite important, especially when it's being played in a club, which is why I always kind of avoid that compression that, can take a little bit of the frequencies out. So this master here, one of the cheap ones, and for me, it was just being able to... The bass wasn't as constant. I'm kind of looking for something a little bit more constant, even though the sound of the bass is a little bit phasey. Lukey Dan, sounds too compressed. Compression, yeah, so you guys can hear it as well, which is great. Drums sounded like they were super glued together, no space. Yeah, so it was like, it's knocked a little bit of the dynamic out for me. But we'll get into, I'm going to tell you exactly what all of these settings were, what the companies were, and then, yeah, we'll get into it. So that was my least favourite master. My next favourite was this one. Straight away you can see, like visually, if I switch between the two, like that kind of block in the middle has dispersed out quite a lot on this one. There's a lot more space between the bass, and you can even kind of see the hi-hats there. Whereas on here, you can kind of only see the snares, if you see what I mean. The hi-hats are almost as sharp as the snares, which leaves for something just a little bit muddier, but overall feeling a bit louder. I feel like that kind of master is a lot more the vibe where people, if you ever read it, like mastered for SoundCloud or mastered for Spotify, or, they're designed to sound loud on like a phone speaker and not necessarily on an actual sound system, which is still important to me. Not important to everyone. So if you're watching this, don't be completely put off. It is still about taste at the end of the day, and that is some people's taste. I'm going to play this one for the same sort of section. Have a little listen to this and see if you can hear the difference. So, my thoughts on this master when I heard it were, I preferred it. Like I was saying, if you joined for the production stream, we were going for something kind of like garagey, like darker garage. So it wasn't about it being super bright and sharp and punchy for me. I like my drums to be a little bit muddy in the mix. So that's kind of the point. You're not going to get, it's going to sound that kind of that way on all the masters. I'm not trying to have the sharp snares or those like really, pitchy hi-hats. So for this one, for me, and knowing personally as well, we're going to get into the final one after this. I always like a little bit more warmth added to the low end. I like something that's considerably quieter than most things. Shout out Smith, welcome. And yeah, it's got that dynamic in it, but maybe it was just a little bit flat on the lows, a little bit flat on the low end. Now you can tweak your masters on this service. I'll get into that in a minute. Shout out Matt14120. Thank you for your Twitch subscribe. Big up. Appreciate you. So yeah, as I was saying, this one for me was just a little bit lacking in that low end like you get from a vinyl record, and that's always what I'm trying to emulate when I pay for masters. So that was my second favourite. My favourite master was this one. And hopefully the stream will do it justice. Now, if we look at the waveform, it looks like there's a little bit less detail, but what it does also do is it meets a lot higher, almost right up to the peak there, which is kind of typical from a professional master. You'll find that parts of the song will get right to the top, but somehow the guy that I use manages to keep quite a lot of the dynamic that I'm looking for in there. And he's also particularly good at warming the bottom end without distorting. So have a listen of this one and see if you agree. It might still be a little bit weighty for many people for their taste, but this is my kind of taste. But see what you reckon on this one. The first place you'll notice it is the kick drum, definitely. So that was my favourite master personally. Let me just jump in the chat. So yeah, I mean, it looks like you have all noticed that same thing. Like you can feel the weight in the kick a little bit more, and you can hear the hats, and nothing feels like crunched. And it's not too pushed. It's not pushed too loud, but the snares are hitting as loud as they need to, as loud as they can. And for me, the bass was there. It's a little bit more constant. It's still quite phasey, but that's down to the actual bass sound I was using on that track. So for me, that's what I personally look for in a master. So what I want to do now is talk a little bit about each of the services that I paid for there and how much they cost me. Let me just close my Spotify. So my favourite master was... no surprises, it was the Pro Master, and I'm absolutely certain that I would have picked it out. I've done testing on things like this in the past, and always have managed to pick out the Pro Master over the kind of like quick service, quick turnaround masters, algorithm masters, if you like, off the internet. And I don't know what it is. I just think it's the way my ears are trained to pick up things like compression, because it's just such a thorn in my side. When I hear it on a master, it really puts me off. And that's the one noticeable thing for me with those algorithm based ones, is like they do a decent job of getting the levels loud. So if someone's playing it on a phone or just like on SoundCloud or something, it does the job. But not if you want it to be played on concert stages or in clubs and stuff. So this master was by Robin Petrus at Pure Focus. If you like the sound of that master, I'm not getting paid for any of this, by the way. Just want to like put that out there. No one's paid me to do any reviews today. I don't have any sponsors. No, I don't owe anyone any money. These are all just my opinions. Before we get into the nitty gritty of distribution, particularly because I've really picked that apart for later. We're going to get into distribution quite heavy. And yeah, found out some pretty cool stuff, which I'll share soon. But yeah, Robin at Pure Focus did this one, and he has been mastering my stuff for like 10 years now. I just send everything his way because I like the way he makes things sound, and he's good to deal with. If you got a problem with something, tell him, he'll fix it. Like, he just goes back in and tweaks. He does a lot of his mastering software based, so he keeps the price down as well. I think his masters are about 50 Canadian per track, which is pretty good. I think that's pretty cheap for the quality that I'm getting back. My second favourite master was from one of the algorithm based ones, and this one's not bad, to be honest. I wasn't mad at this master. It was just a little bit lacking on the low end, but the tops are pretty nicely spread. I'm just not getting enough of that clarity in the hi-hats, and I'm just lacking that warmth in the kick and the sub. But it's not a bad master. This is from one called Aria, Aria. And I wanted to check this one out because I read one of those kind of online side-by-side tests where someone did pretty much what I'm doing here and put the same song through a pro master and two of the cheaper sort of mastering company ones. And I thought it'd be interesting to show you lot who followed the track from the start, just to see, like, you know what the track sounded like before I sent it. So I thought it'd be a good test for you all to see. So this one's from Aria, and it cost $19 US. But I signed up. I actually had some stuff mastered here a while ago, which I needed for a mix. So I paid $49, which got me 10. It's $49 a month for up to 10 masters. So if you do like the sound of these masters, you can save quite a bit, and that works out at $4.90 US a master. And for me, for this kind of quality, it's not amazing, but it's not awful by any account. I think $4.90 a master is an absolute steal. Just to have a quick listen again to what I've essentially paid $4.90 for. I think for that money, that's pretty good. I don't think you'll find a better cheap master than that, and not at that kind of price, you know. Bear in mind, you also, if you're going to release music, you need the WAV. You can't, I mean, there probably are some cheap distribution outlets out there that will just let you upload a 320 MP3 and distribute that, but you need really to be uploading a WAV, 16-bit, 44.1 kilohertz. So if you are looking for a cheap master, just make sure you're paying for that WAV, because that's what distributors need to get your music onto all of the platforms. Yeah, so the Aria one is monthly. It was $49 a month, but you just need to give them, I think, 2 weeks notice. So you could essentially pay for a month, get your 10 masters and cancel the same day, and you just got 10 masters for $49, which is great. Little tip for you there. Check them out. So yeah, Smith, I know I spoke to you the other day. He's working on putting a compilation together at the moment. This would be a great way to get 10 tracks mastered for $49, nice and quick and easy, and not a bad master, to be fair. It's not bad. For that money, it's amazing. But for me, paying that extra and going to my boy Robin, he does a job that I like. Now, my least favourite was Landr. Everyone knows about Landr, or Landr. It's a bit too compressy for me. You can look at it. It looks a bit. It's starting to get into that sausage territory. Like, when you see that much green on your screen in Audition, that tells you there's not a lot of dynamics, not a lot of space. It's not going to give the hi-hats anywhere to dance around, so to speak. To have a quick listen back to that now. me, it's the snare. It's almost like because I've layered that snare, I'm only really hearing one of the sounds in there. Whereas on the other masters, I could hear that it was layered with like 2 sounds, but the separation's just gone a little bit on that top. So that was the Landr master, and that costs £10 for the WAV. Like I said, it's considering what the tracks sounded like. Like I didn't master it at all, or really try to push it. So having just sent out a flat pre-master, you kind of get what you pay for with Landr. It's going to make it louder for you, and it's just going to give you back what you need to send to distributors. And I think that before they came into the market, there wasn't really any services that operated like they do, that quick, cheap turnaround. So it at least meant that producers were uploading stuff that's a bit more finished, But I think it hasn't really kicked on from being that product. And for me, is just it's one of them things. Hado Shrooms never paid for mastering. The label boss masters it all. Yes, if you're releasing with a label, they should be paying for your stuff to be mastered, unless you're absolutely adamant that you want to master your own stuff. In which case, some labels will be happy to put your masters out if they're good. Obviously, if they don't think they're good enough, they just won't want to release your music if you're that adamant about it. But yeah, I mean, we'll get into that as well. Obviously, I run a record label. Ryan Gallus, I know a couple of labels that expect you to provide master material. I mean, it's up to labels how they operate, but I still operate in the old school of vinyl, like pressing vinyl and stuff. So it's kind of similar moving into the digital age from back in the day where the label had to go and press the vinyl and test it and attend the master, and then come back to the artist and be like, here's your test press, have a listen of it and tell me if you're happy. When it became digital, that's just something that labels carried on. So then it was like, well, we'll pay for the master. Because at the end of the day, the deal that you have with a label is that they technically own the master. They take ownership of it to be able to sell it. So bear in mind that as well. If you are releasing with a label, if you haven't looked properly at any contracts or anything, the consensus is that you give them ownership of your song, and then they can sell it, and then they can give you a cut back. There are still advantages to being on a label, though. Like, I'd still send, if I was making some different genre or whatever, I definitely would still want to look at getting my stuff out on a label that is established. That's a big help to like establish you as an artist, right? And that's kind of what I try to do with Terrorism. It's why I run a label that puts out a lot of people's early releases and not like trying to hold on to them for like 10 years, because a lot of the artists get to that point where they know how it works now and they can go and try and set their own thing up. And I'm not mad at that, because that is how the game goes. That is it. That's exactly what I did. Released on a few labels, figured out how to do it myself, worked in distribution, and that was it. Then I can put my own releases out, and doing the same for others now. Is there a noticeable difference between digital and analog mastering? Well, actually, that's quite funny, because Aria, that we just listened to there, they say that their mastering is done with analog kit, and I'm not sure how, if it's controlled by MIDI or something, and that's doing the AI side of it. I have no idea, but the Aria masters do take a little while to come back, so there may well be some hardware involved in their masters. I don't know how, but that's just the way it is. And if that is the case, then that would definitely suggest on the evidence we just heard that maybe analog does sound a bit better. There's that age-old argument, analog and digital. It's just, we could get quite nerdy about it sometimes, I think. So long as the song... Sorry, I've got an itchy eye, man. Look at that. It's scratching my eye for about 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean... I've just played you 3 digital masters. As far as I'm concerned, I know Aria says that it's like analog, but I can't be certain of that. But people like Joker, who is a very, very good mixer, masterer, does a lot of his stuff on hardware. Holding on to people for 10 plus years feels like an outdated model. I mean, if you can do it, great. But for me, I can't imagine tying someone into a 10-year contract and then, just rinsing them. There's no way, unless the contract's gonna just means nothing anyway. But I've been tied into long-term deals myself and had a really bad experience when I was young. I signed a 10-year publishing contract with a major publisher, and I didn't really look at what I was signing. I just trusted that it was going to be a good deal because it was a major label. Signing a publishing deal with a major was what you aimed to do. When you got into production, it was like, that was it. You getting signed to a major was everything. Now, I don't think that's the case. And you can do just as well yourself if you want to put the work in. And I'm sure that some of these things that I do and the amount of money that I'll save you if you follow these kind of steps, you'll be able to do it too. I'm sure of it, because I've been doing it for 20 years. My last full-time job, if you like, was, let me think, about 17 years ago. 17 years ago, yeah, 17 years ago was my last full-time job. Or 18 years, actually, it might be. And I've earned all my money in music. Granted, the most of it is from gigs, DJ gigs. But, I can live off the money I earn selling music now. It wouldn't be like an amazing living, but it would be all right. I'd be fine. Do you know what I mean? Did the publisher get me syncs? No. Didn't get a single sync in 10 years. Imagine that. Put me in a couple of half-decent recording sessions, of which nothing happened with the music, but that's very normal for your signed as a writer to a major label. They'll put you in sessions with every singer, every rapper, everyone. You name it. You're in every session with people. Anyone that they're having a sniff round, writing a demo, trying to get signed, all of that. I got put in some really good sessions. I got put in some awful sessions. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't a good experience for me. Can you change Bandcamp to an artist one if you started with just a normal one? So the Bandcamp that I've got is for the record label Terrorism, and it started off as like an artist page, so none of the artists had individual pages, etc. And then I got introduced to people at Bandcamp when they opened up shop in the UK, and I'd been using it for a while. So they set me up with a label page. So now all of the artists have their own individual pages inside the label page. But yeah, I think you can change around. Definitely. Shout out Mo City, out to the India gang. Good to have you on board. Some of the people I worked with. So some of the sessions I was in through that was a couple of artists that didn't amount to anything. I couldn't even tell you. But obviously was in some sessions with Skepta. In fact, that is how Intensive Snare was recorded. I recorded that with Skepta as one of the very first studio sessions I did. So, but they didn't put me in there with Skepta. I brought him in myself. I just had access to the studio whenever I wanted it, and I was friends with Skepta. So they didn't bring that to the table. They waited for me to bring a lot of it in, to be honest. And it was just meeting people out and about, ending up in sessions with MCs, rappers. Yeah, I can't get into too many details, but yeah, the be all and end all of it was I didn't get any syncs for 10 years. I had to sit 10 years and wait to get out of it, and now I own my own publishing. I have Terrorism Publishing, which is administrated by Cobalt, which is the biggest publishing company on the planet, I believe. They look after a lot of labels publishing, and yeah, they administrate mine. So yeah, anything else before I get into like distribution? Does anyone else have any questions about those masters, or any input on any that we can like kind of feed out to the viewers about mastering from experience? Any of you guys had any good or bad experiences with mastering? Any tips for any of the viewers? Fire them away, or forever hold your peace. Let's put some music on. Let me just get my mix better. Yeah. So, let me just trim it. There we go. On the fly. Sync is putting an artist music with moving image, i.e. movie, advert, TV show. Yes, sorry, Luke, I didn't see that one. So Sync, let me just turn the volume down a touch. Sync is, yeah, so if you get music put in a game or an advert, you know, all that kind of stuff. Had a horrible experience with French studio. Got a digital master for a vinyl release. Yeah, I mean that can sound pretty bad on a record. The way that mastering engineers tend to master for vinyl is a lot different. Definitely a lot different. But yeah, I think I know a few people who had that problem down the years. Make sure you get a test press. Yeah. Let's have a look. Yes, always look out for them test pressings. I mean, vinyl pressings, it's so expensive now that, you know, it's not even worth it in many cases anymore unless you're absolutely certain that you can shift units. So to get into distribution, I today spent most of my day actually this afternoon looking into all of the different distribution options that are available out there, and just talk a little bit about where you can release your music and why, because there are different kind of use cases when it comes to distribution as well. I think like me as a label have very different needs from me just uploading one of my own releases. You know, if I wasn't on the label and didn't want all of the information and the stats and all of my, you know, like accounting and everything in the same place. But if you're just releasing as a solo artist, there's some pretty decent options out there, and we're going to get into them in just a sec. Let me just get rid of my Adobe Audition. Now, in the background, I've got a few websites open. Just, is it not normal to not get paid for tunes on a compilation that don't sell well? No, that's completely normal, actually. The way the way that a compilation works, it's probably very different now because there aren't really that many of them about. But the way compilations used to work would, you know, they'd license about 60 tracks, put them out and sell it for like as a massive thing. You know, they do big numbers. You'd normally be able to get a half decent advance for them. They were selling like CDs and stuff. I don't really know how it works in the streaming era because, you know, playlists are the new compilation album. You don't need compilation albums like we used to. Now we've got playlists, so they kind of serve less purpose. If we're talking about licensing for them. So in terms of not getting paid, Imagine a compilation CD, right? Let's say that this company presses 100 CDs, and they paid like 500 quid for that, yeah? So they've pressed 100 CDs, it's cost them 500 quid. Let's say they got 10 tracks on there. Each of those tracks is already starting, you know, out of pocket. Selling all of those CDs for a tenner a go and then splitting 50% normally with the label, but all of the costs come out of it. So distribution costs, loads of things come into play, and you know, unless they're selling enormous amounts of units, it can be the case that, like, I get distribution statements from a few compilations that I released on back in the day, and then, you know, I still get, every year I get one, and it will be like 50p nearly every year, and I don't really know where that comes from. It's probably like rights collections or something like that, but it's mad. I'd love to see you play an all-night set at Patterns in Brighton. Yes, I've done that before, funnily enough. I have definitely done that in recent years. The one in Brighton, yeah. So, where was we? What was we just talking about then? Yeah, compilations. But now, you know, if we're talking compilations of unreleased material, again, so to give you an example, when I released like Wave Pool 2, that was 30 tracks, right? 29 tracks, I think it was. And so the mastering for that alone was like over £1,500. And then there's artwork, cost that. I did all of the PR myself, and that's going to be another episode. And we'll talk a little bit about it today as well, if hopefully we don't run out of time. But yeah, I mean, we had to then split all of the profits. Well, firstly, it needs to make that 1,500 quid back as well before we even start talking about splitting profits. So yeah, it needed to make that money back, and obviously that's a lot of money, especially in the streaming era. To earn that kind of money, and I'll get into that. I'll tell you exactly how many streams you need to get to earn 1,500 quid back. So yeah, compilations in that sense, they can just take a long time to get back into profitable territory, so to speak. Anyway, in the background, you can see my Chrome browser there. And this website I wanted to show you because I've been using it recently. Someone that I work with put me onto it, and it looked pretty good, right? The main reason I like it is it allows you to keep a track of all of your like your social media. And I never used to know how many like followers I had on these things. But it's quite interesting to be able to see the growth, because you can actually notice it after an event or after a release or something like that. You get spikes. So I find it quite interesting looking at them all now, because they kind of move in similar patterns, except for Facebook. Look at that. Facebook just goes down. I don't know if that's just people leaving Facebook in general, because I don't use it very much. So they're unfollowing me on there, not because I'm annoying them. They're just unfollowing me, maybe because they're not on there at all, or they're just going through unfollowing all of the pages. But it's not gathering new followers because I don't post anything much up on it, really. But yeah, this is a website called BeatChain, and the reason I like this site is because it cuts a shitload of crap out of promoting your releases, right? You can go into here. It's called the Launchpad. Go into Launchpad on this website. This is free, by the way. Sign up for it. All of this is free. You don't get these kind of services elsewhere. And then you can link all your social media accounts in here and manage them. Content calendar. So you can look at your calendar and you can post tweets in there. Look. So there's today. What, is that right? So you can see there. These are all tweets, just like promotional ones. So I schedule tweets like the days that I'm on Twitch. There's going to be a tweet that goes out at like 6:45 to let people know I'm going live soon. All of those kind of promotional tweets about, you know, the Deep in the Drives album in there as well. And yeah, you can go months ahead. You can just literally do that. So like I know now, without even thinking, if I don't go on Twitter all day, it's cool. I still posted about my Twitch show on Tuesday, or I still posted about the last album I put out on Bandcamp, which that album came out, by the way, on the 20th of March, and you can see I'm still promoting it like every couple of days. And you know, the month after, you'll see with this one that we've done, because if you follow me on other social media, you're going to be seeing these tweets, and I'll be loading them into this, They'll be like, once we name the tune, it'll be like, this tune out on this date, pre-order it on Bandcamp. And you'll see that, and I'll post that once or twice a day on Twitter without thinking about it, because I've done it all in here. You know, little cheat for you on it. You're not supposed to be able to copy and paste the same tweet. But tweets like this one, live on Twitch, forward arrow 3 times. Just delete one of them and then copy and paste it. And it sees it as a different tweet. So bang, you've got like your boring promotional tweets that you have to do. And, you know, that's one of the best hacks. Because does anyone really enjoy being on social media? I like engaging with social media on Twitter and stuff. But I don't sit there and scroll through it or, you know, think about all of the promotional tweets I've got to do, which, let's be honest, like, people get bored of seeing them, but you have to see them. Like, people can sit there, see your new release, get on with some work, and then 2 days later forget that they even saw anything about it. And that is, unfortunately, the world that we live in, because people are they're engaged in so much content constantly. And everyone says to me, like, hey, you do stuff like that, you tweet the same shit like every other day. These are my mates, by the way. I haven't had this from followers. But it's like, just put a tweet out every day about it. It can be the same tweet, just at different times of the day. People retweeting your stuff on there, all of that. At least when I do it this way, it's like I can spend an hour at the beginning of the month or the beginning of the week and just start putting them all in and not have to even think about it. And that is my first hack of the day. Beatchain.com. Go and sign up. It's free. Costs you nothing. And there's other services on the internet like Buffer. And that's why I got on this. I used to use one called Buffer. And they'd only let you schedule 10 tweets at a time unless you wanted to pay like £50 a month for it. This is like a completely free version of that. And you can post to your heart's content. It also stores like your content as well. So all those pictures, I haven't had to upload them individually for every tweet. They stay in like a little drag and drop. Just bang, like they are. Like I'm on Twitch tonight. I'm on, you know, here's my album. Oh, maybe you haven't followed me on Spotify yet. Hey, when was the last time you checked out my SoundCloud? Like, bang them all into tweets, copy and post them, and you are good. You don't have to think about. If you don't want to engage with Twitter any more than that, that's the absolute minimum you should be doing. Because as shit as it is, honestly, if you're not posting about your stuff on social media, especially on Twitter, where it's just constant, people are on there all the time, then you're not gonna be found, you're not gonna be heard. No matter how good your music is, this is the shit that you have to engage with. And companies will charge you hundreds of pounds to manage this shit for you. You don't need to pay it. That's a few £100 in your back pocket there. Beatchain.com. That's the first hack of today's show. Any other... so Buffer can be a bit cumbersome. Seen a lot of people mentioning Reddit as a good site. Yeah, I use Reddit. And there's a really good... If you're into like wave music particularly, there's a really active Reddit sub on there. I've recently started getting into Discord. My Discord's down here. And that's been pretty cool as well. It's kind of similar to Reddit, but it feels a little bit more private. Like you can't just stumble into someone else's forum. I think you have to kind of find your way into it or be invited in. So the community it feels a little bit more like that's why I wanted to do one for these streams, really, was because people can continue to engage with the people on it. So the Wave subreddit is /Wavepool. And it was started, that's not actually me that started that either. Someone who was a fan of the Wavepool mix, r/Wavepool, started it and just named it after the mix. And it's got thousands of members now. And it's probably the best place on the internet since SoundCloud went a bit pants to actually just get a stream of like decent wave uploads. Just go in there and click away, have a listen, and then find stuff on SoundCloud. So Reddit's definitely good. I put a post on Reddit. And yeah, Twitter, on Twitter every day. And then on Insta stories are great. Do make sure you do an Insta story every day or two. reminding people you got a release. And also just like reposting other people that have tagged you in will encourage other people that follow you on Insta to like tag you in a post. Gives you something to retweet, gives them a little shout out on your feed. Everyone's happy. So Insta and Twitter are like that every day. You got to be on those every day for at least a month after the release comes out, I think. And in the lead up to it, I don't think many people are going to do too much pre-ordering unless it's a big release like an album or something like that. Then they might pre-order. It might be like, I'm not, I want to hear that the day it comes out. But if you're just doing like a single, like you'll see with this track that we're going to release probably as a single, it won't sell too many pre-orders. I don't think so. But if I do everything right by it, it should hopefully do all right on like Spotify. And if it kicks into one of those Spotify algorithms, it could do really well. And that is the key. That's what we're trying to crack, definitely. Heap your favourite artist likes on SoundCloud. Yes, Roots, that I'm guilty of that one. In fact, like this whole wave sound came pretty much from me doing exactly that with some of like Young Good, Climax, obviously, Gregor, loads of people like that to see who they were following. And then I'd listen to that and then find out who they were following. And before you know it, you're following people with like 10 followers that are making music like no one else. And then you've got 10 artists like it, and suddenly you're playing from all these different artists. But that's exactly what I did. Just digging through everyone's likes and follows. It's good. It's a good way to discover new music. In the digital ages of singles being the majority, yeah, I agree. Pre-orders are kind of pointless for singles. It's more of an album thing. But it doesn't hurt to do it. And I will do it with this, but it'll be probably an exclusive to Bandcamp. Bandcamp is where you want to send all your listeners. Honestly, if you don't know about Bandcamp, which I expect most of you do, you should know about Bandcamp by now, but you should be sending everyone there first. And that's not just in pre-order sense. I mean, like when it comes out, Bandcamp over everyone, because your real fans will go there and they'll pay £1 or £2 to download your music just to support. And yeah, family and friends and that. And as we're going to see when we get into distribution, the money that comes back from things like Spotify is not going to make any difference. But the right amount of sales on Bandcamp can equate to thousands and thousands of streams on Spotify. So if you can just get 10 people to buy it on Bandcamp, you could potentially, in an album sense, I say, like, you can start recouping some of those costs straight away. So Beat Chain's my first, that was the first little tip. So today, to start off on distribution, I did a bit of Googling to read up on some more like recent blog posts that people have done where they compare the distribution companies. And I saw this one on productionmusiclive.com, and I just wanted to refresh my memory of like who people were using, what the aforementioned like pros and cons are of each of them. And I was aware of most of these apart from a couple, but I wanted to dig a little bit deeper than that. I want to talk a little bit about them still. Let me just get my laptop. It's got my notes on it. It's on Real Pro. This is full journalism right now. Happy out. Excuse me. Right, so let me have a look. Journo time. Alright, so yeah, productionmusiclive.com. So yeah, different ways, they, like the classic, how to get your music on Spotify. But, at the end of the day, one of the things I personally look for is like what distribution companies are dealing with which services. I release electronic music, dance music, so being on stores like Beatport and Juno Records in the UK particularly are good for people releasing like deep music for DJs. So that was quite an important one for me personally, because as a label who's been doing business with Juno Records before it was even a digital store, I wanted to still deal with them, because I remember speaking to those people on the phone when I worked in distribution. So it's a strange one for me, but like Juno means something to me because it's been around longer than me. So yeah, I dug into most of these basically. Juno downloads are good, yeah, and you know, like they support the label. I want to make sure that I'm represented there, definitely. So yeah, let's have a quick look. So with Distrokid, right? Hear a lot of people using Distrokid. I know a lot of people that use it. I've heard quite a lot of good things, a few bad things, but a few of the bad things I've heard about Distrokid, I hear about a lot of distributors. People having problems with their artwork if it's got like some like slogans or writing on it that isn't just straight up artist name title, which is shit, because that is stifling like album art design. And I still pay for album art because it still matters to me, and it should matter because you need to stand out a little bit, you know, especially if you know, people are scrolling through things like SoundCloud. Like Bandcamp, because the player app means I get all my music in one place on the phone. Yeah, the Bandcamp streaming app's actually decent for your purchases. So yeah, back to Distrokid anyway. People said that they had some problems getting some of their artwork, and then when you do have a problem, you kind of like open a ticket, and it can take days to get a response, and then the response will just be almost like a copy and paste job. It doesn't feel like you're actually speaking to a human being. So the cons listed here, the pros: no commission, you get all the money you earn. You can upload as many songs as you wish for one yearly price. SMS message marketing tools for art. I mean, I'm not bothered about that personally. And then they've got a con here: no additional marketing help for artists who gain traction. Now, I personally don't think that should matter. That is not a con against a distributor for me, because a distributor is a distributor. You don't need them to be a label as well. Like, if you're releasing your own music, you're already your own label. If you gain enough traction that someone wants to take half of that, you're already way ahead of them. And if you're at that stage where people are tapping you up to take 50% of, you're probably good where you are, in this kind of sense, where a company like Distrokid or all these distribution companies, they're distributing like thousands of artists. And so if you start to ping on their radar, you're like the best of thousands of artists. And that should tell you that you're probably alright on your own up to that point, and you will be going ahead. So I wouldn't put that down as a minus. Like, I mean, the only plus of that is you might get that text, and if you get that text, that's an indicator that you're doing pretty well. So yeah, I looked into all of these, and I wanted to set up this graphic, but I didn't get the time to do it. But to get into my notes, what I wanted to do was I looked at my distribution statement from the record label for April, my most recent one, which equates to streams on Spotify in Feb of this year. And I took 10 of them and divided it up and worked out exactly how much on average I was getting per play from Spotify, because there's information all over the place, right? Now, does anyone want to hazard a guess? Let's have a game in the chat. Have a guess at how much pence per play. Let's see who can get the closest. How much pennies per play in UK pence for a Spotify stream in February? 0.0003. No, it's more than that. Jenny Cheng, not ready for this one. 0.03 is less than that, Rhyme. 0.00037. No, it's more than that. It's stupidly low. 0.02p. No, it's less than that. 3p. It's less than that. It's a lot less. Oblong Long Johns, I like that name, is the closest so far. It is the actual amount, right, across 10 different releases from my distributor, and I factored in their percentage as well, so I've added that on. And the amount is not. I'll type it in the chat as well, actually, while I'm here. Let me just make sure you can actually take this in. 0.00272744 pence. 0.0027. I mean, that's insanely low amount of money. That was an average across 10. Shout Augie Tio, just going around every chatting stream on Twitch and donating 1 bit for fun. Look at that. I got a 1 bit. Cheers for that. So yeah, what I did was I had a look at all of our distributors and looked at how much they charge per year and worked out how many streams it will take you to earn that money back for like what you spent out, to give you a rough idea of how long, so you can be completely sure of how much you need to get stream wise, because it's quite a lot. So just to quickly skim through all of the ones, we got Tunecore there, another popular old school one. Again, they like to claim no commission, very good revenue and analytics reports. That is quite useful as a label. I'd like to see stats, and it is quite useful to have it as an artist as well, to be honest. So yeah, analytics is quite important. You want to see who's listening where, where your fans are. Might become more useful if you get really big and need to figure out where to go touring. AWAL, I checked this one out. They don't give a lot away on their website, but it sounds a little bit more like, a major label. Must be accepted to get in, 15% commission, no additional fees, possibilities to get your music on playlists. Again, a lot of distributors say this. That for me is a con. Here's a hack, right? Most of the distributors telling you that they'll get you on playlists are being a little bit sneaky about it. They don't actually have the power to get you into any Spotify playlist. No one that works at a distributor has that power, right? It's not possible. But what they can do is get your music in their playlists. So AWOL have probably got a Spotify playlist. It might have a few thousand followers on it, but not like a Spotify algorithm type playlist. So a lot of them that claim that are not. No one's going into Spotify playlist meetings with your music, especially one of these services that has thousands of musicians every week. At best, they're sending an email round with you and 1,000 other releases that came out that week into some kind of like dumping ground at Spotify's email address. Just make everything Bandcamp exclusive. I mean, you could do that. There was people doing that back in the day, but now it's good. Bandcamp's like there where you can sell to like your core fans, your actual fans, your DJs who need the files, and people who actually give a shit. So send them all there, but Spotify's good for people who have just got music on and maybe your tune comes on and it's like, what is this? And then finds out about you. So it's good to have your music in those places still, even if the money is shit. It could convert into a real fan, so it's worth being on there for that reason. I wonder if Spotify has any algorithms to clock on if you're just streaming your own track 24/7. I read apparently that once you listen 15 times, that's it. They don't count any more plays. I don't know if that's per day or what, but I mean, when I was young, I used to listen to the same album all day long. I don't do that now, and I doubt many kids do. But imagine that a kid's listening to your music all day, and if they're only getting counted, each track's only getting counted 15 times. I mean, from what we just seen, that's about a penny, isn't it? Someone who's listened to your album all day long has earned you a penny, which is a piss take. But I can't confirm that to be true. I don't know. I just read that somewhere. But yeah, imagine that. But yeah, I'm sure they do track, you know. They can track who's listening to your song where, because they can tell you. If you go on your spot, oh, that's another thing, right? You need to be on Spotify for artists. It's good to Spotify's like the main streaming platform, so make sure you're signed up as an artist on Spotify. It's artists.spotify.com. Go and check that out and sign up if you're an artist. Make sure you're linked up, because then when your release is ready to come out, you can go in there and pitch it to their playlists. Now, I'm not sure how successful that is. I've only personally had one song land in a playlist the day it came out, and that was my recent release with Duce called E-Night. And I'll get into how I promoted that as well when we get a bit more into Spotify, into the promotion segments. But that actually did. It landed. It's still in the Alta playlist, which is one of their biggest electronic music playlists. It's got like 200,000 followers, I think. Let's stick it on for a minute, just so you can hear the track. So it's quite far down this playlist. So it gets about 3,000 plays a week out of that playlist. Let me find the track. It's right near the bottom of the playlist as well. But yeah, back to distribution anyway. So as I was saying, I don't think they have that much. No distributor can walk into a Spotify meeting and get your song in a playlist, put it that way, unless there's some like brown envelopes floating around. Landr do distribution as well. So if you like their masters and you like want to get a mastering subscription, they throw that in for nothing. So that's not bad. You're getting a little bit more bang for your buck there. So the pricing on that one's a bit different. $12 a year minimum, $3 a month gives you access to all streaming services. So that's another thing as well. Like some of these distributors will charge you extra to like collect YouTube royalties or something like that, and that I'll also get into, because YouTube is actually the second biggest store for my label personally. Like Spotify first and then YouTube. Like you'd think iTunes, but no, I earn more money from YouTube than I do from Apple Music, iTunes. So we'll get into that in a bit as well. Stem. Now I checked out Stem. I like the look of Stem because they were early on adding splits. So if you're in a band and there's 5 of you, you can go in there and set 5 people to split all the money, and every month they just pay all of you the percentage that you're owed. So it actually eradicates any paperwork. If you're a label, I'm not sure if they offer their services to labels. You've got to apply. But if you're a label, that's great, because you could every month all your artists will just get their percentage. You don't have to worry about accounting to them. It's just done. So I like the idea of that. Plus 5% commission is a great commission rate. Some distributors will charge commission rather than a monthly fee, and I personally use that myself rather than a monthly fee. I'll get into that in a bit, but 5% commission is great. I think that's a good deal personally. I think Stem looks like a half decent one, but I'll get into that soon as well, because there are some pitfalls there that people will miss, and we're going to crack them open in a minute. Symphonic I looked at, it didn't really give enough information up publicly, which is a red flag for me. If the distribution company doesn't have their pricing on the website and you have to sign up first, then that it's not going to be good. I think that's dodgy personally, so I would swerve that one. CD Baby has been around forever, and I think it's the only reason that it's still here is because it's been around for ages, right? It's awful. The deal that they have is absolutely shocking, and I'll get into the metrics of it in a minute when we start comparing it to what is available out there. I mean, I can't believe that they've listed any pros and cons. A one-stop shop to get your music on streaming services as well as physically in stores, CD and vinyl. You can do all of this yourself anyway. That's not a plus. It's very easy to go elsewhere and get a CD printed. No marketing help for artists who gain traction. No, I mean, yeah, that's not a con. There's other companies that will promote you if you want to pay for that, rather than pay a company like this to just like bang an email out for you. So yeah, we'll get into that as well, because a lot of that can be done yourself too. Reverb Nation. I didn't get into Reverb Nation, but it's been around forever. 20 quid a month. In a package, you get distribution of 2 releases per year, mailing list service, and the ability to submit TV placements. Yeah, again, leave that out. No distribution service is getting any of that. I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely certain. I worked in distribution, and that, you know, shy of someone getting paid like a backhander somewhere, that wasn't happening. Everything you release with them is branded as Reverb Nation. I mean, no thanks, I'm alright. But anyway, let me get into the ones that I looked into, right? I was mostly interested in the ones that were free and claimed to like give you 100% of your royalties, okay? So, had a little look into Distrokid. A lot of people I know use this one. What are we listening to? Hold on. Hot Since 82. I thought this was a bit off-brand. Submit to opportunities. It's so vague. Yeah, it is. It is vague. It's not. I mean, it stinks to me, personally. But yeah, so we've got musician plan. So if you're just a solo artist, that's going to be you. One artist or band name. Upload unlimited songs, unlimited lyrics. Spotify verified checkmark. One artist or band. So if it's just you and you're not looking to release, start a label, any of that, $19.99 a year. That's good. Pretty decent. Musician Plus, 2 artists or band names, unlimited songs, unlimited lyrics, synced lyrics for Instagram, good if you're a singer. Daily sales stats. I mean, I get them with mine, but they're not accurate. So I don't know how accurate they are on Distrokid, but they can be useful. Customized label name. I mean, should be a standard on the musician as well. I'm not sure why it's not. Customizable release date. Now, that's interesting because that suggests that as the musician package, you can't tell them the release. You can't set a release date. So what does that mean? It just goes live as soon as you upload it. Is that how that works? If you're in the chat and you use Distrokid, let me know, please. Let me know in the chat. There must be someone in there who uses Distrokid. Let me know. Can you set a release date if you are on the $20 a year band? On musician, you set it on the day. So wait, you just it's like SoundCloud. It goes live as soon as you upload it, or as soon as they can get it on to all of the platforms. From my experience, you need about two weeks minimum to get it onto all the platforms on the same date. So the idea of it going live as soon as possible means you're going to have, it will go live on like iTunes like today, and then tomorrow it will land on Deezer, and then like 3 days later it's on Spotify, and then you got something wrong with it and it can't go onto Juno because and it's a mess. So in that case, I would swerve the $20 a year. You've got to be able to set your release dates if you're going to try and do this properly, in my opinion. Just putting it up quick is not the way to go with streaming. No time to pitch the playlist, no time to say when it's going live. Yeah, you can't do any promo to let people know it's coming now. It kind of eradicates the whole point of a musician. So I mean, looking at that now, you're going to have to go with Musician Plus. You're not going to do well doing things that way. Customizable iTunes pricing, 2 artists. So I think that sounds like you're probably going to need that $35.99. Label, 5+ artists and band names, unlimited songs, 5 to 100 artists, $80 a year. I mean that's pretty good. That's a lot cheaper than what I personally am paying, because I pay a percentage. But there are some benefits to doing it the way I do it with my distributor. So something else I noticed about Distrokid was... Let me just get into this. So, when it gets into like payment... Where is it? Right, there was something in here about YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. Can anyone confirm that Distrokid doesn't collect from YouTube? If it does, they'll take a percentage. Is that not right? Was that Distrokid? The label's name is Distrokid. Right, yeah. Never use it for my label because no beat port. Exactly, yeah. There's no beat port. And yeah, from what I hear, YouTube is an option, and it's not offered to all kinds of music either. If you consider yourself, I think it's electronic music, they won't do YouTube because there's too many samples in it or something, and they can't take the risk. If I'm not wrong, that was Distrokid. Anyway, to get into the details, right? Distrokid. Let's see. So basically, Distrokid at the musician base, that's £16.18 per year, and this is on the basic. So let's just say you went on the absolute basic. How many streams? How many streams do you think you need to get to earn that money back on Spotify, based on what we learned? How many streams do you think? Right, well, I'll tell you. 6,967 streams to earn back that $19.99, basically. So, I think it's quite a lot of streams still to earn that £16.18. 5,932. The other one was, I think, Ditto. So 5,932 streams. So it's possible, I guess, but it depends like where you're at in your career. I mean, there's songs of mine that are probably still under that amount of streams, like instrumental grind bits and that. If you're a singer or a rapper, you're probably going to do better numbers than that. But if you're just putting out like instrumental beats, it could easily like fall under that. But obviously that's unlimited, so you only have to do that amount of streams on one song and then you're good to go. So that's not too bad. However, oh no, that's good. So another thing I liked about Distrokid, which we'll get into with other services, which is a real hidden factor, there's no minimum payout threshold. So even if you earn £1, you can cash that out. And a lot of distributors won't let you cash out until you hit a certain amount of money. And that is where things start to get a bit juicy. We're going to get into that. So that was Distrokid. Overall, not bad, I think. Not too bad. But yeah, I think you'll be looking at that Musician Plus rather than that. You definitely want to be able to name your release dates. Let's get some different tunes on, because I'm not sure about this one. It's not my vibe right now. Let's get into this. Look, one of mine, and then into a playlist. So let's have a look at the others. Alright, close that. Close that. I'll get into album work in a minute. So, Ditto. Ditto music. I know a lot of people that use Ditto. I know a lot of people that moan about Ditto a lot. The hidden one here with Ditto is payment shall only be made to you if you accumulated outstanding earnings exceeding 25 quid. So £25 on top of what you pay. Basically, you need to earn before you can earn a penny. So Ditto music is £19 a year. That's 6,967 streams. But you got to make over £25 to withdraw it. So to withdraw £25, you need to make 9,166 streams. So that's how much you got to make on there before you can even cash out anything. But if you add those two together, what I was thinking about earlier, right, is, so imagine you've signed up £19, and then you've got to earn 25. You actually got to use £44. You got to make 44 quid before you've broken even, because you can't cash it out. So what's that? 16,000 streams? Yeah. No, 17,000 streams before you can even cash your first 25 quid out. Mad. There's definitely a lot of people on there who have not hit 17k on a song. I've definitely got a lot of songs that haven't hit those numbers, 100%. What differentiates a distributor from you distributing your own work? So, Oblong Long Johns, I think on Spotify you can actually you can actually distribute directly to them. The problem is you have to do that with every single there's so many different platforms you need to be on. You need to be on YouTube Music, iTunes, Apple Music, Beats Radio, YouTube Music, Vivo, Spotify, Deezer, Amazon Music. Like, I can list them off. There's like hundreds of them. The distributor deals with every single one of them. You don't have to deal with any of it. They put the music to them with all the information. They're their point of contact. They deal with all of that. Then do all the accounting, get all the money in for you, and then you just ask for your money. So that's what a distributor's for. You can't do it all yourself. I mean, you can, but it's not worth it. Especially now, you can get it done pretty much for free with some of these. But yeah, so Ditto Music, about 17,000 streams before you could get your first 25 quid back from your songs, which is quite a lot. Especially if you're, only putting out a single or two down the course of the few months. What else was there about Ditto? I've heard some funny stories about them from people. No. Yeah. Basically, let me get into that again. Ditto Music, I'm not sure about them. I've heard bad stories from people who use them, so I'd avoid them personally, just because they're people I trust. I thought the services didn't allow you to personally do it. No, they do, I think, but it's long. Basically, yeah, Ditto's, I'm not sure. Something doesn't sit right with me about them. Anyway, STEM, we had a little look at STEM. You got to apply for memberships. There's not too much information here, but you apparently you get to speak to a human there, which is a massive plus for me. Customize your release for each album. Choose your territories and platforms. Set up master royalty splits, which is a nice one if you work in a team or people are owed sections. Like someone played keys on it or something like that. Track revenue and data. Get paid every month. 60-day lag from when we gather payments. So distributors are paid from the aggregators, like the streaming platforms, 3 months back paid. So in my case, what I did my workings from today on my April statement, I was looking at streams from February on Spotify. So in this case, it means that you're waiting 3 months to get your distributor to get their first money from Spotify, and then you're going to wait another 2 months. So it'll be 5 months before you see your first payment from a STEM, which can be quite normal. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I get 3 months. It's 3 months minimum. You're going to be waiting 3 months for money from streaming platforms, except for Bandcamp. It's instant. It's another reason you need to send people to Bandcamp when you think you ain't seeing any money from these streams for 3 months. Like, try and sell on Bandcamp, you'll see that money today. That's why you got to push people there, especially when it's new release. What's going on, Vince? Welcome. So we're going through distribution right now, getting into the meat of it. So STEM, quite interesting. You do have to apply, so if you're just an upstarted musician, they're probably not going to bring you on board. They're probably looking for people who are a bit more established, so it might not be for everyone, this one. But obviously there's no costs to set up on STEM. They take 5%, which is good. That means that you are earning from the off. You haven't had to pay anything up front. You don't have to pay anything year on year to keep your music online. So if you forget to pay 1 year, your music's not coming off Spotify, which it will do on the others that we've spoken about so far, like Ditto and Distrokid. If you don't keep up your annual payments, your music will just disappear. You want to get with a distributor that's just going to leave it up there, surely, right? So this one's good. No upfront costs, 5% commission, which is absolutely amazing. And they deal with splits, which means you don't have no paperwork. So from a label perspective, that's great. It cuts out all the work, keeps my music online, and they're only taking 5%, which is amazing. Obviously, this is a new platform, so they're not dealing with all of the shops that you might want to be with, right? I couldn't find a proper list of stores that they service, but I'm pretty sure they don't service Beatport, which is a pretty good one for me. So that would be the only minus I could find really on that one. So yeah, STEM, pretty good, right? No upfront costs and 5%. Definitely one of the better ones. We spoke a little bit about Landr already. Get that rolled in. They don't deal with many stores, which is a little bit of a minus. And from what I've heard, they almost automatically block everyone's artwork. Like you have to have a conversation with someone about problems with the most basic artworks. I think like their filters seem to just catch everything. And yeah, my friend doesn't have any writing on his artwork. He was like, something just kept flagging it. Would it be easier to maintain Bandcamp page yourself and then distribute to other platforms separately? Matt, yeah. So you do Bandcamp yourself. I did see a distributor today. I can't remember what one it was, but there was a distributor that would charge £10 a month to do Bandcamp for you as well. If you really don't want to do it, that's not too bad, but it's not difficult to maintain Bandcamp yourself. You upload a release the day it goes up. It's like uploading something to SoundCloud. The only upkeep you've got after that is if you sell things like merch, and you have to check who you've got to send it to, because you can sell merch on there too. So yeah, Ryan, what label do you run, Ryan? I run my label and I run my Bandcamp there. So yeah, you have a distributor and you deal with your Bandcamp yourself. Yeah, I think that's what most people I know that run labels do. So yeah, STEM, good one. Don't need any streams to pay back that one. So yeah, let me get into some of these ones. So like Tunecore, right? I used Tunecore back in the day. It was one of the first ones. So when I left my distributor, I needed a digital. My previous distributor liquidated, lost a bunch of money, and then I had to set up digitally with Tunecore. And the thing I didn't like about Tunecore was like annual payments, but it was per release. So I had to pay like 40 quid to get my album on there, and then like I think it was like a tenner for every EP. So I was like, wow, like the initial outlay to join Tunecore for me was about £300, which was a shitload of money back then, when people were not, they were just downloading everything illegally, like completely. It was pre-streaming. So Tunecore's old school, right? You've got to avoid this one anyway, but just to give you an idea, £24.29 per album per year on Tunecore, which means every year that album has to equate 8,905 streams to pay for itself. So just to break even, you got to do nearly 9,000 streams on your album. But get this, right? The following year, it goes up to $50 a year, which equates to £40.48 per year after that. Now, let me get my calculator out, because I didn't actually do the work into this. But 40 48 divided by 0.0027274. That means just to break even the following year on every album that you've released, you got to do 14,841 streams. That is an insane amount of streams for an album that's been out for 3 years, right? And you got to do that with every album you release. So you got to be looking at like hundreds of thousands of streams every year to even make your money back. So yeah, like Tunecore is one of the worst. But believe it or not, it is not the worst one. There is a worse one than that. And it's CD Baby. One of the oldest ones, right? CD Baby, straight away. So pros, no yearly fees, and you pay just $10 a single for each individual song and $50 for an album. Anything 7 songs or more. So that's just so it's just a one-off. So it's not an annual fee, but that's still a lot of money. Like, you're going to be releasing how many albums and singles throughout the course of a year? As an individual artist, probably like 4 or 5, like minimum. That's $250, give or take. Maybe let's say like $180 or something. Oh, that's a lot of money. They collect the money made off all your projects, royalties, and give them to you via check. Look at that. There is $103 minimum balance for checks to be distributed. Now, I've done the workings on that, right? So before we even factor this in, $103 equates to 33,278 streams. Now, you got to make 33,278 streams before you're allowed to cash out. So there's artists that are distributing their music on CD Baby, and their money's just sat in their bank account. Just like, they're just living off everyone's interest, basically. Can you imagine how many artists are on there with less than 33,278 streams? And that's not even factoring in the fact that they paid $50 for that album to be on there in the first place. And it gets better because they also take 9% of your sales on top of that. It's insane. I can't believe they're still in business. It's proper crookery. Label is Incursion Recordings. Big up, Ryan. Let me have a look. Sorry, I'm going back into the chat now because I could not believe that when I was reading that earlier. Distrokid have a lifetime fee, so you can pay even more per tune to keep it up if you go elsewhere. Yeah. Easier to maintain Bandcamp yourself, distribute to other platforms. Big up 2Box. I think it's important. There's so many like hidden fees. All you see is like headlines of keep 100% of your royalties and all that, but all of these hidden costs they cost you streams basically. You're going in at a handicap. I know a lot of places use Tunecore and CD Baby as the example places. Do you know what, Ryan? I think they're all on commission. Because how can you even be promoting this shit? It's so bad. Look how bad that is. 9% commission on top of all those fees, and you can't even cash out until you've earned $103. That's insane. There's pop stars, which there's definitely pop stars out there with like less than that on some of their songs. Crazy. So yeah, fuck CD Baby. I couldn't believe it when I saw that today. I knew they were old school. They've been around for years, but the fact that if they're getting any sign-ups now, I'll be amazed. It's mad, isn't it? And I mean, I don't know how correct that is, but the bigger audience you have, the more money you make from streams, the more you have to pay CD Baby. My professional analysis, CD Baby offers great services. One of the best thing being free promotion. This is fucking bullshit. Like, who wrote this? How can you say that on the same page as, like we've gone to Distrokid, Amuse I'll get into as well is another one. I mean, there's so many better services out there. I can't believe that they're even justifying it. How can... What services do they offer that are great, honestly? And at what fucking cost as well? It's absolute daylight robbery. Anyway, rant done. Let's not get into CD Baby. So Amuse is one that I looked into. Interesting thing about Amuse.io, they let you have 100% of your royalties. The catch is that they also run as a label, and they like to basically, if you're doing well on the streaming numbers, they can approach you and offer you a label deal because they're a label as well, and they use their statistics as like A&R tool. So they sign the artists that get big. Problem is, you're not obliged to sign. So it's a problem for them, but not for you. It means that you get 100% of your royalties, and like there's no catch. So the only catch on that is their withdrawal is £8.09. So basically, before you're not going to be in any debt, but you won't be able to cash anything out until you've done 2,967 streams, which isn't bad. So Amuse, and I had a look into Amuse. They don't deal with that many stores, and they don't deal with the Beatports, the Junos, all of the really specialist ones. So if you're making music that's maybe doesn't matter that much about DJs get into it, if it's more like listenable, like lo-fi, if you make lo-fi hip hop or something like that, stuff that's not like DJs don't need to get, then it's good. But you know what, if you're pushing everyone to Bandcamp, Amuse costing you at no extra cost is not bad. And I know people that have used it and said it's alright. Again, they had some problems with the artwork, but I think that's a standard across all of these like automated distribution services. So to get into a couple more that I checked out, and then I'll talk about the one that I'm with and why. I checked out Fresh Tunes, and this is talking from experience here, right? I used Fresh Tunes. It was one of the first ones I saw that said it was free and it's 100% royalties and there's no catch, and I was like, checked it out, and it basically admits that the only catch is they make their money by keeping your money in the bank, basically. And I didn't really think about that too much at the time. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense, like when you cash out, they still got money in the bank from other artists, and they're earning the money off of the interest and that. So it made business sense, but it didn't really occur to me until I tried to get my money out of there, how difficult it was. And bear in mind, we're already, you get 3 dates backdated from Spotify to Fresh Tunes, and then I'm not too sure how soon after that I was even seeing my stats. So I wasn't seeing anything from that music for a while, because it was only available on streaming platforms anyway. It was like an experimental net label that waived all. Basically, the idea of this label was that people could use the music on their YouTube uploads and live streams and stuff, and they wouldn't get a content strike. So it was like royalty-free music, essentially, but it was cool royalty-free music. That was the idea. So it was free to use, free to download. They could pay what they like, but it also went onto streaming platforms, and any money that it made from that, I was splitting with the artist. It wasn't a bad business model, to be fair, but it was just I didn't have the time to keep up with the content uploads and the A&R side of it. I might revisit it. It's called Wavepool. You can check it out on YouTube. But they had 3 songs on there, and it made quite a bit of money because one of the songs, was one of my own, went into a big Spotify playlist and done some big numbers on it. So it did end up in profit, which meant that I tried to get my money. Sent them an email in January of this year. I'd racked up quite a bit of money. And it took ages, and then there was a problem with it. I had to go again. They basically asked me to prove that I had the right to distribute the music, which is fresh coming from someone who's been collecting royalties from that music for like 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean? Like, you've got the money. Why are you asking me for identification now and proof? So I managed to prove it anyway, got the money, but didn't get the money until like a week ago. I started trying to get that money in January, and about 5 months later, I finally got it. Like, that is nuts. So avoid them. Avoid them. So yeah, you'll wait, at best case, by the time you ask for the money. Oh, and that was another thing. You can only use web money or Payoneer to get your money, right? I don't use either of them. I think that it's like a Russian version of PayPal or something, right? So I asked for bank transfer. The minimum outlay for a bank transfer is £300. 300 quid. So that's how they make their money. Anyone who hasn't earned 300 quid has got money in the bank for ages, right? And then when you do ask for it, you got to wait about another 4 months before they even send it to you. So they're sat on your money in their bank account for about a year by the time you can get your hands on it. And that's if you earn over £300. It's mad. Sometimes it does seem pointless to charge for your music, and sometimes it can work in your favour. A lot of releases I've given away have done really well. In fact, one of them, a free download from the label by Louis Vuitton, has done 1.7 million streams on Spotify, and we gave it away for free. And it's got the most streams out of anything I've released on Spotify. Nearly 2 million. Insane. So, fresh tunes, yeah. So, at the absolute base level, yeah, if you want to use fresh tunes and you want to use something like Payoneer or Web Money to get your money, the minimum's $25. So, 7,428 streams. But like I said, you're going to be waiting months for that money after that. So, avoid them. Definitely avoid them. It was really hard dealing with them. So, AWAL, 15% commission. Couldn't find out too much else on them. Doesn't look too bad. But yeah, 9,214 streams to get the 20 quid that you need to get your first payout from there. So, into who I use, Label Engine. I've been using Label Engine for 6 years. The reason I use Label Engine is because I run a label, and they have some good functionality in there that are more suited to someone like me who has to account to like 30 different people across 70 odd releases down the years. It deals with your beat ports, it deals with Juno, it deals with a lot of those independent record shops, like the specialist ones. So for DJ music, the music that DJs buy, it gets into all of those sites. It's got really good relationships with like Beatport and stuff like that. You can like Premiere, you can give Beatport an exclusive and they'll put it on the front page and stuff like that. It's got some nice functions in it, but they do charge 15% commission, which is high. But another thing I like about them is before I went there, in my old school distributor, where they were selling vinyl as well as the early kind of digital stuff to iTunes and that, my accounting was literally just like a 25-page Excel spreadsheet, and I had to figure it all out. Mental. How do you think Clacy Jones made off the cement deal? Anonymous, I know exactly how much he made because I own it. I own that track, Terrorism Recordings. So I know exactly how much. I paid him the other week, funnily enough. Caught up with him. And yeah, that's the one thing about running a label is trying to keep on top of payments. So the terms that I run on with artists on my label is 6 and 12 months. But I'll be honest with you, and this is normal as well from releasing stuff I have with other people's labels, normally like other friends and that. Independent labels are notoriously like not on point when it comes to accounting. You normally just have to ask. So don't feel downhearted if you've released music on someone else's label and they've not paid you. Just ask them, because I don't think they're not trying to snake you. They're not constantly in front of like their accounts. You know, that it's normally like a one-person operation. In my case, it is anyway. So if any of the artists haven't been paid yet, if any of you are watching now, just drop me a little email and we'll get you up to date. But yeah, that's common. Yeah, I mean, like Clacy, to get onto Cement as well, I managed to get a couple of sync deals on that as well. So he's earned really nicely off of that track. Knew it was going to do well. Good bit of A&R from me, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I mean, it's still doing well. It does more streams than any of my music per day. Even the Skepta tracks and Japan and all of those bits that people think will never go away. Is Label Engine an invite-based one? So I did have a dig, because they do have a sign-up one as well, and a lot of those functions are like bolt-ons. So based on how, like for me, paying the yearly fee would probably make more financial sense, but I might have to pay for loads of other things. The reason I don't mind paying that 15% is because my experience with them has been fantastic. I moved over to them before a lot of these like 100% ones existed. So also the work for me to move my entire catalogue from them over to a new distributor would mean a lot of work for me, and it just comes down to time a lot as well. For me though, it is good. They have very good customer services. Any problem with your release, if it ends up on some wrong page on Spotify, they're onto it. It's changed within hours. So yeah, they also have a built-in mailing list, which is great for me as a label. I bang all of my DJs' email addresses in there, and it fires out like a promo email so they can listen to it, tell me which tracks they like, which ones they don't, and then I can pass that on to the artists so they can see which DJs were feeling their release and stuff like that. So it's nice. It's got loads of like good functions in it that you don't get elsewhere, but that's probably because it is built for labels. DJ, like producers, I don't even think about sending their music to DJs. I'm going to get into that as well. Got about another 12 minutes of today's stream. Any questions on distribution while I'm here? And then we'll get into a little bit of the beginnings of promo and a few more cheat codes for you before we go. Or actionables, as people like to call them. You know, and those like someone giving a TED talk or some shit. Here's an actionable for you. I want you to go home today and go through your Twitter feed. But yeah, I think we've covered distribution. For me, right, out of all the distributors that I looked at today, Stem and Amuse were outstanding for me. But I think I don't think Distrokid's too bad. I'd like to see a little bit more about where it distributes to. So that's another thing for me with Label Engine. They distribute to everyone. It's on all of the Chinese streaming sites. It's on all of the Russian ones. It's already there. So when those markets boom and all of a sudden bang, like we're in there. We're already on those platforms when people start getting like digging around for like weird electronic music. Which distro would I recommend for an individual artist looking to get on Beatport and the other DJ-centric platforms? I think Distrokid, because I'm pretty sure they do Beatport, don't they? Do you know what platforms the Japanese market frequent? Let me have a look. Let me go have a quick look on Label Engine. I'm pretty sure. Okay. Let's have a look, see if this gives us the stores. Here we go. So, you got YouTube content monetization, ad revenue. So like I said, a lot of these distributors that don't offer things like YouTube or like add that as a bolt-on. And there is also this like idea that like, oh, getting your tunes on YouTube videos is just good promo. No, it's not. It's money. It's real money. In fact, for my label, it equates to 12% of all the money that I've made from all of these sites. So don't let anyone tell you that putting your music in their YouTube video is good free promo. It's not. It's good paid promo. You should be getting paid for that. I know why they do it, because if they don't pay for it, they can monetize the whole content themselves and take all the money. But you should at least ask for a little cut. If they're not going to give you a cut of the royalties, like actually accounting to you, they should give you a little fee for it. So yeah, ask for a bit of money if you can, or at least make sure the label's collecting. You know, for me, or you can use my music in any YouTube video you want, but you can't earn from it. My distributor label engine will be on your back collecting that automatically. So yeah, it's got content monetization on Facebook and TikTok. Obviously my music's not going nowhere on TikTok, but if you make that kind of music, you want to be on TikTok right now. Beatport, TrackSource, the DJ download stores, Amazon, Boomplay, Google Play, iHeartRadio, KKBox, TouchTunes, Mixcloud. So yeah, it matches your music in people's mixes as well. SoundCloud, it collects music royalties from SoundCloud. So it does all of them. These ones are so Yandex, I think, is a Russian one. United Media Agency, I think, is the Japanese one. Is that the one that owns a few of them? Onkyo Music, I'm not sure. There's loads though. You can see their Fan Label, all these other ones, loads of little stores. You don't earn much money from them, but you never know. You never know when you might start. Shout out new followers, Kin Dimitri. YouTube, like I said, it's not a great earner in that sense. But if we had this guy who for years was using one of our tracks as like intro music to him opening packs of Pokemon cards, and he was getting 1 million hits on all his videos. So one of the tracks on the label made thousands just out of YouTube because some kid was using it in his intro. Insane. It can happen. But, you know, you never know when it's going to happen. It can just come out of nowhere. So yeah, that covers distribution, man. I hope we've cleared that up. I do think Amuse is great. Amuse always, but the one thing I can't stress enough is send everyone to Bandcamp. Upload your music to SoundCloud as well. Manage your own SoundCloud. Use SoundCloud as a vehicle to Bandcamp because you can add like your links to download and that. Just make sure you're sending people to Bandcamp, and communicate with your followers as well. How important those Bandcamp sales are. At the moment, obviously, they're dropping their fees like once a month, the first Friday of each month. So they're doing it in June, on I think the 5th of June, and then July as well. So if you've got music to put out, that is the day you want to be doing it. This is the time now. Am I leaving this one on my channel? Yeah, man. This will be back on the Twitch channel, and I upload these like a week later on YouTube, on the Terror Rhythm YouTube channel as well, because I feel like this is relevant to people who maybe didn't hear the tune. So yeah, Amuse is a good looking one. Stem looks amazing. I'd love to see a bit more about where Stem distributes to, because 5% commission and automatic splits to all artists, that's like banging. That sounds amazing. I'm paying 15% to Label Engine, so I would be better off if I moved, but I like them. Loyalty's a thing to me. I can't lie. It still matters. And they do a good job, so I don't mind, helping them out too. So we've got 5 minutes before I'm going to sign off. So some other things as well. So like I check out that beatchain.com if you just joined. Get like scheduling all of those like promotional posts nice and easy for free. That's a free one for you. Obviously we've gone through distribution, loads of free options. We got into mastering. You guys heard the difference between Pro Master and the two online ones. So you start to see now you can save money everywhere here, right? Another good source of information online, one that I recommend, is a company called what are they called? I had it in my head a minute ago. Right, hold on. Burstimo. Burstimo. They do a really good podcast. It's free to listen to, and they are actually a music promotion company. So it's amazing they give away the knowledge they do, but everything they talk about is truth. From my experience, they talk a lot of sense. They don't give you any bullshit. Even as a company that essentially charges people to promote their releases, they're giving you that knowledge and it's free. And that is what I'm going to get into more next week, is how you promote your release, and we'll go through and do a bit more of that. Before I go, let's give you that actionable. One of the key things to getting your music heard, if you're like making electronic music, is getting it to DJs, and also nowadays more so like your peers and people who have maybe some kind of influence in the market or like style of music that you're making. So if you're friends with other producers and DJs, you want to get your music to all of them. Like now, like I've got my master. The first thing I need to do is get it out to DJs. In my case with Label Engine, that means that I get it ready for distribution at the same time, and I use the built-in DJ mail-out function. But something I also do is follow it up with some personal messages to some of my friends, normally like DJs through like Twitter DMs. If you can DM them, that's great. Don't waste any time asking them if it's okay to send. If you're already DMing them, Distinctive Designs, yes, that's it, Burst Demo. Check them out, Google them. They're on YouTube, and you can listen to their podcast on Spotify, but it's good. It's well worth a look. So collecting like DJs, like get in touch with any DJs you know. There's one website as well called send.mu. I'll put that in the chat. All these URLs, check out send.mu, right? It is a mail-in service for, you can send your tracks to DJs. It goes straight to like an inbox of theirs, a bit like a PO box for DJs. And there's big DJs on there, people like Benji B, all that. Ryan Gallus, do I have a promo email? I'll get into that as well. So I don't like emails with promos personally, because I've had the same email address for like 15 years, and it just gets overrun with junk. And also I do all my business through one email address, so I don't really want music landing in there because it's already clogged up and I'm not listening to music constantly. So I might only get like, if I'm going to do like a mix or like something like that and I need to get some music together for that, I might spend like 2 or 3 hours just like going through tracks for the mix, and normally I'll do that on Bandcamp or SoundCloud. So message me music on SoundCloud message, please. Ryan, message me on SoundCloud message. So something I do is I upload an EP or release to SoundCloud privately, and then make sure that they're all downloadable, and then I send that playlist to my friends who are DJs, people I know that are in the press, all that kind of stuff. Can I do a quick update on the sample competition? Yeah, I'll do that quickly before we go. But yeah, then I'll just send a personal email to DJs who are friends of mine. If they're not friends of mine, and if you want to send music to people that you don't know, have a little scour through people's Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts. DJs normally have information in their bio as to where to send their music. Do that before you ask someone. Have a little look on their bio. It's normally there. And if there's not a public email address, maybe ask, just like drop them a tweet or something like that. And if they're after it, they'll tell you where to send. Like for me, like just then, I'm always about sending it to me on SoundCloud. Don't forget to properly label and tag your tracks. Yes, Dirt Jump. Before you upload anything to SoundCloud, make sure that, like, if it's a WAV, just make sure it's named as like artist-title.wav. Make sure that they know, who sent it to them. Because the DJ will go there, will download 30 tracks, whack them into like Record Box or something, and go to have a mix, and it's called like L1.r.wav. And it's like, no one knows what that is, who made it, can't remember where they got it from. So to do that, if you're uploading like a 320 or something, open it in iTunes and just like amend the ID free tags before you upload it. Yeah, man, on the radio every week I'll be playing shit I have no idea, and still to this day I was listening to a mix or a show from a while back and I was like, what is this track? I had to Shazam my own radio show because I had no idea what I was playing. And music moves quickly these days. It's easy to forget the name of an artist or something you downloaded, etc. Add all metadata when mastering or bouncing it out if you can. That's a good habit to get into. And yeah, send that to a few DJs. If you don't know them, get straight into it, straight to the point. Don't worry about giving them your life story. Just be like, hey man, really like your radio show, or you think like, the more honest and open you can make your emails, do it. Don't make it look like you've just copied and pasted it. Like, us DJs are fragile souls, and if we think that you've sent it to us specifically, we'll give it our ears and we'll appreciate it way more than checking out something that looks like you've sent it to 8,000 people on a mailing list. Then I'll just be like, yeah, probably everyone's already rinsing it. Like, it's not exclusive, it's not exciting. If you make it feel special, and also if an email opens up with, hey, I really like this track you did, like this, and you know, you played this track the other day on your show, and it really made me think about this. Here's the track. Then I'm like, wow, this person listens to me. They know exactly the kind of thing that I want to hear. So now I already think that I'm probably going to like it, or at least it's relevant, you know. It's going to be the right genre. It's not just like a trance tune that's getting plastered to everyone who's got DJ in their Gmail address. Do you know what I mean? Like, that happens, and that's part of the reason I don't like giving my email out for promos, because I'm on too many of those already. Tip for sending tunes via email though: if you do mass send, always use a blind copy. I mean, I was in one years ago. Does anyone know about that thing that was called the Super Thread? It had about 400 DJs in it, and it had everyone in there. It had Steve Aoki, Diplo's email. It was like, like personal email addresses, and mine was in there. That's how I found it. But that's still floating. I had to like put filters on that one because it was every day like 50 emails in my address. Just annoying. But do that. And so an actionable for you is think of like 50 odd DJs that you really like, or people that you think might like your music, and just go float around and see if you can find where they like to be sent music. If you've got 50 people on your mailing list that might listen to your song, get that out to them at least 2 or 3 weeks before your release comes out, and let them have some time to find it, listen to it, play it. Because if you send it to them 2 days before it gets released, they might not even have a mix or a radio show in that time. And they'll be much more excited about playing something that no one else has got yet or can't get. DJs, we love that shit. Like, if someone Shazams your set and they don't know what it is, but that's another thing about distribution, is Label Engine goes to Shazam. So if people Shazam an unreleased track, if I've already sent it to distribution, it's actually going to get noticed even if it's not out, which is great as well, because then they can pre-save and do all that shit. Get excited about it. So yeah, I think that about wraps the first episode of the Music Hacks. So we got into mastering, we went deep on distribution. I don't think I ever need to talk about distribution again. And we've gone in a little bit into promotion as well. So I feel like we're making progress. I hope everyone's learnt something. Let me have a little look at the sample competition. Yes. I'm on Discord for that, so you won't be able to see. So I had a little look yesterday. I've been in the Discord channel. Let's have a look. Serious name. Nice. Okay, so we got a couple. I got a couple I haven't listened to. Then let me have a listen to them and hope that you guys can hear Sue too. I should really be streaming this into the Pirate Studios Discord. So yeah, I had Oliver Ryan today, like a housey version. I heard that one was cool. A Serious Name. Gonna need to do a million updates, but added some garagey vocals and thought it was too cheesy, so added some Bojo samples. Now I have like a cursed version of Brexit beats. Alright, let's have a listen of it. Easing anxiety. Oh, I like the drums. kind of works actually. Yeah, deadline tomorrow. This is cool. I like this. Dark. So this is serious name, yeah? Big up, mate. That's a decent little effort, that. I like that. Let's put it into like the second drop here. Oh, nice. He's got that there. Old school, like, speed garage vibe. This is your first track, yeah? What are you producing on Serious Name? The deadline, Lukey Dan, is tomorrow. It's a competition run by Pirate Studios. Been running it for 10 days. So, yeah, the closing is tomorrow. You can win £200 studio credit if you're in the UK or like New York area, or Germany, in fact, Berlin. But you can still grab the sample pack from the Discord. Let me invite. Nearly spilt my beer everywhere. It's getting to that time, innit? Anonymous, I heard that. Did you see my feedback? I fed back on that today. Big up 2Box. Yeah, come back next Tuesday. I'll be back here on Thursday. I might be a bit late on Thursday because I've got to do a web seminar, a webinar about Twitch, funnily enough, and DJing on it. Shout out. So yeah, that Discord is the Pirate Studios one. If you can grab the samples out of there. Yeah, big up, man. Serious Name. That's not a bad effort at all. So Anonymous, let me have a look. Where are we? Was it that one? Anonymous, which one's yours? What's your username on Big up Hado, yeah. Inform it was Nanny, yeah. Nanny. So the one with the Sonic Kid on it, right? Is that one? The Mad Fusion. Welcome. Big up everyone. Yeah. How are we feeling out there? So I said this is mad. I thought I had another window open when I heard my voice. It's a very, very creative, nice blend of styles. You got like a few different different vibes going on in this one. Where are we going? The picture on my wall talking here. That chap. Yeah, I like this one, man. This is a great effort. Yeah, this is a vibe, man. Drop it there. Boy, that made me die earlier. Drop it there. You should make it. You can make your own. You can make me like a voice pack for Twitch or something. We could get some sound effects going off in the stream. Drop it there. I think it's good in the Discord, actually. What I'll probably do, Anonymous, is go through the SoundCloud tomorrow. But yeah, you're good in the Discord. This was the bit where I was like, oh, you got like some different styles in there. Sound a bit mad. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nice bit of pan going on there. Yeah, man, that's a vibe. Big up for sending that one. So now I put a face to the name. So that's Nanny. Anonymous. Not so anonymous anymore, are we? All right. Well, yeah. Without further ado, I'm gonna sign out there. It's been a good one tonight. I feel good. I feel like I've informed a little bit, and also I learnt a bit about distribution. It's always good to keep up to date with all that kind of shit in the industry. So next week we'll get into promo, like PR campaigns, that sort of shit, because that costs so much money, and honestly it's probably not worth it. Like, you can't buy success is the point I'm trying to make. You can have some good experiences with it, but ultimately a lot of the work can be done. We'll get into that. Come join in again next week, and yeah, like, we'll just be unveiling leaf upon leaf of the Bible of hacking the industry. Shout out everyone. Keep safe. Hopefully see a few of you on Thursday night, probably about 8 o'clock. Might just have a mix on Thursday because I'm going to be tired. Yeah, stay away from CD Baby, everyone. Where can I get album art made for us? Yeah, do you know what? I was going to get into that. I was going to show you that Fiverr actually has some half decent ones. Have a look on Fiverr. Fiverr.com, Fiverr. That's like good, but you can go quite expensive ones. That's not a bad shout. But also just like scouring Instagram for like digital art artists. Have a look on there, DM them, and score yourself a winner that way. Cool. And I'll get into this as well. Another one for promoting. This is a site called Submit Hub. I haven't had too much success on there, but it's worth showing you how it works because it's another free tool, basically. Cool, everyone. Look after yourselves. Take care. I'll see you all very soon. Hit that sub button. Make some horns go off. Shout out Serious Name. Big up Augie Tio, Matt4120. Everyone who subscribed, dropped some bits, all the tips, etc. Much love. Look after yourselves and each other, and I'll see you real soon. If not this Thursday, then next Tuesday. Big up all. Peace.